Hey guys, today I'm here with Kobuk again, and we are going to be adding recall into these drills. This drill is known as place to place. So yesterday we taught her what place was via the e-collar. Today we're building on top of that skill by having her recall off from a bed to me onto another bed. You'll see I'll start by recalling her off the bed and then sending her to the bed, walking her with the leash, just to start really slow, make it really easy for her to learn, and then slowly I'll get her recalling without my guidance, and I'll be behind the bed with a long line. That's what we're hoping to get today. I was hoping to use food today, but she turned her nose up to food again. I do think that soon she'll be taking food, but again, if she doesn't, that's not a problem. We can continue with just using pressure as the motivation, okay? So I'm gonna get started, and I'm just gonna do the simple walking her back and forth using come and place. The skills that she's already learned. She's already learned a little bit about recall. We've done a good amount of recall, and we did a little bit of place yesterday, so we're gonna be putting those skills together to get this drill. And this drill is gonna allow us to really hammer the meanings of those commands in her head. That's why we love using it. So here we go. Come. Place. No. Good. Good girl. Come. Place. Good girl. Is really simple. I'm saying come. I'm turning on the e-collar pressure until she gets off from the bed and starts coming to me. And then when she's about a foot from the bed, I turn the e-collar pressure back on and say place, turning it off when she gets on the bed. So she's learning these commands via the e-collar as well. So we're not wasting any time. And so what you're going to see as a result is if she gets confused in the future, I can turn on the e-collar pressure and it should help guide her to the command that I'm asking for. Right now there is leash guidance, but you'll see I'm going to be fading off the leash guidance rather quickly. I'm going to only be giving it to her if she truly needs it. So pay attention to that. We like to let the dog think a little bit, especially after they've had a number of reps. Come. Place. Do a few more and then I'll add the long line. Come. Good girl. Place. Good girl. Good job. her. I definitely noticed that after about 5 minutes, 10 minutes, she starts to disengage and move a little slower, and then she'll even just not want to move at all. And that's why I'm moving on to the long line here. So I can use, or I might actually even do it with a leash. But the idea is that my pressure, I've been starting at 10. I'm going to hop it up, just like the last video, to 20. So what happens is as she gets more reps, she gets more familiar with it. So it's no longer a challenge. And then she becomes bored. And then she starts kind of, ignoring me a little bit. That's when my pressure goes higher. There is some finesse to this. If your pressure goes too high, you'll see that she'll have trouble, or the dog that you're working with might have trouble thinking. So then you have to be prepared to give guidance with the leash, okay? Which can be quite hard to do with a long line sometimes, so that could take a little time. Maybe start with a leash here. But I'm gonna go to a 20. I am gonna keep the leash on before I go to the long line because I have more control. Just give her that motivation with the pressure, show her what to do with it, and that way it's more clear to her what to do with this pressure that's slightly more motivational when I go to the long line, okay? So that's what I'm doing next. And also, I'm now going to stop prompting her as much. What that means is I'm not going to turn on the e-collar as soon as I say the word. I'm going to wait a second after I say the word. So I'll say C-O-M-E, wait a second, then turn on the e-collar pressure if she hasn't already started to do the command. Same with place. And when it does turn on, it's at a 20 instead of a 10. And I always have the option to dial up if needed, okay? So we're going to say the command, wait a second, then turn on the e-collar pressure, then start dialing up if she needs more motivation. If she's truly confused, then I guide with the leash. Okay, so the guidance is the last part now. Calm, pressure on, dial up, guide, place, go. So you see how I did that there? I said C-O-M-E, I turned the pressure on, I started at a 20, I started to dial up, she got off the bed without my guidance, but she went in the wrong direction because there were some distractions in the other room, so that's when I used the guidance. So you can see the guidance is my last card I play, but I will use it if she needs the help, okay? But I need her brain to be active, I need her to be thinking. I can't give her too much of the answers because then she'll blow me off and just kind of go on autopilot. Calm. Good girl. Place. Okay, I dialed up there because I said come. She came instantly. I didn't have to use the e-collar, but as soon as she got off the bed, her nose dropped to the ground. She started sniffing. She headed that way. That's when the e-collar pressure came on, and I started dialing up and then I said place when she was about a foot from the bed and she got on. So this dial up, this turning on and then dialing up is the important part because the dialing up, it gives the motivation and you get to the perfect level that's motivating her but not freaking her out. So that's why we use the dial up. But I'm starting at a 20 instead of a 10 because the motivation for the 10 is not working right now. It's just not motivational to her. So 20, it gets her attention, it works, but I can dial up if she starts disengaging, being stubborn, or just needing more information. The dial up is nice. It's smooth, it's slow at this point. If she's misbehaving really bad, I will speed up and do a swift dial up until she's being more compliant. Okay, so that goes if she's resisting against the leash, say, and like bucking back, we can dial up swiftly until she comes into our direction and we'll let go. So it's a very nice tool, and it allows us to continue the smoothness of this while making large amounts of progress on her understanding of the commands and her attitude. Calm. Good. Place. Good. Calm. Good. Place. Good. Good girl. Nice work. Calm. Good girl. Place. Nice. That was her best one so far because I didn't use the e-collar at all. And I'm doing that on purpose. That's why I'm giving that split second in between turning it on. I'm giving her a chance now to comply, now that she has understanding of these commands, to comply to the command before the pressure turns on. So I'm teaching her you can avoid the pressure. And then also within the session, if I have to turn the pressure on, she learns how to turn the pressure off. So there's a lot going on all at once. It's quite an effective way to start training these things, because by the end of the session, we have an understanding, but we also have a way to hold her accountable on the e-collar, which is always what we're looking for. Calm. Good girl. Place. Very good. Very good. You see, so now she's doing really well. I'm going to keep doing this a little bit while she's successful, because I want her to feel the rewards of being successful. And, you know, because she is slightly anxious about training at this point because it's a foreign concept to her. This is totally foreign for her to work, and there's nothing really in it for her. There's nothing that she wants. So what we're going to see, though, is we're going to see her become more and more confident once she realizes once she totally understands what I'm asking for. She's going to become more and more confident, and then we're going to see her be happier and happier as well. And then she'll probably start taking food at that time, and things will kind of go back to normal, if you will. And then, but the only difference is we have a dog who has the understanding of all these commands and understands the tool that we're going to be holding her accountable for when she decides not to do it. So that way we can, when our dog is asked to do a command, we always get the performance from our dogs, whether they want to do it or not, which is very important in order to keep it successful in the real world. Come. Good girl. Place. Another very successful rep with no e-collar pressure or guidance from the leash. Good girl. That's why I'm praising heavy to let her know. Very good job. Keep that up. What's going to happen now that this is so successful is this is when she's going to start trying to predict me, and she's going to start getting off the bed right before I call her. And to me, yes, that's something we're going to teach her not to do, but at the same time, that tells me she's paying attention. So, you know, how upset can you be? She's paying attention enough to try to do the command before you ask it. That's only a little hurdle that we'll tackle when it comes. But that means that she's paying attention, which is great. See, she's already thinking. When I stand up, she's thinking he's going to call me. That's where I want her to be right now. Come. Good girl. Place. Very nice. Very nice. Good girl. Very successful. So that's 3 in a row, or maybe 4. I wasn't counting. I didn't give her any information on the leash or any e-collar pressure. So she's understanding it. She's right where I want her to be at this point. Come. Good girl, Kobuk. Place. Very nice. Awesome. So she's being very reliable. Like I said, 4 out of 5 times now. She hasn't actually, every time, whether, I think it's been 5 reps now, she hasn't needed any information from me. So that tells me she's got an understanding. So I can start moving this along now. I can start increasing the distance from the beds and deepening our understanding, okay? So now I'm gonna move to the long line. And you're gonna see here, most of the time when we move to the long line, it's a little bit of a learning curve for the dog, because believe it or not, when I lift this leash up, she knows I have the leash in my hand, which is also a cue to come when called or go onto the place bed. So the beauty of the long line is she doesn't notice that I'm picking it up, so she has to rely strictly on the command and the e-collar pressure and the little guidance that I'll give her. Also, I'm going to be behind the bed, so I'm not going to be like walking her anymore. So there's a little bit of a learning curve. Let's see how she does. Good girl. I'm going to be using the e-collar the same exact way. I'm going to be giving the command, waiting a second, and then turning it on if she hasn't complied. And I'm going to stay at a 20 as for right now. Okay. Throw this out there. There we go. Here we are. It's our first one like this. Now we've done a lot of reps. So hopefully she understands what I'm asking of her at this point, which I think she does. Come. Good girl. Place. Good. Another successful rep. Good. She didn't need any pressure on the e-collar, and she didn't need any guidance on the long line. And my body wasn't there as a cue either. Very good girl. Very good girl. So this is where she's going to start building confidence. She's going to be like, I understand this. Okay, this isn't so bad. The days go on here. I am going to predict here that within the next 3 to 4 days, she's going to feel much more confident about this training, and we're going to see a happier little trot from her. She'll probably start taking food during training and all that good stuff. So if your dog is kind of, just running through but isn't exactly thrilled, be patient. Be patient. We always see dogs like this turn around and they end up being in great spirits and very compliant. And then you can go out and transfer this into real world scenarios where you're out in public using these commands, such as recall, down, and heel. And then the dog just, realizes that, oh, I get to do more in my life while I'm doing these commands. So be patient, and you see the dog's mentality really shift into a really healthy space. Come. Good girl. Place. Good. We're going to move this bed further now because this is becoming easy for her. That's why we use this drill, because it's very predictable. That's the beauty of it in the beginning, is that it's so predictable, it's easy to catch on to. Okay, I want to move this back a significant amount here. Come. E-collar pressure on. Dialing up. Come. Good girl. Place. Good. Good job. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Place. Good. Very good. That was a successful run right there. No pressure from me. No leash guidance. So every time she does it without any e-collar pressure or guidance from the leash, it's technically off leash, right? Come. Good girl. Come. Pressure on there. Place. Good. I turned the pressure on there because she kind of went, the long way about it, and I just wanted to let her know that I prefer her to be a little bit more direct with her movements. Come. Good girl. Place. Very nice, Kobuk. Very nice. We'll also see her get more comfortable on here as the days go on too. She's kind of hugging the edge there. Good girl. No. Good. Just like I predicted, she's going to start trying to predict me. That's a sign of headed in the right direction. Come. Good girl. Come. Place. Good. Good girl. Good girl. Come. Good girl. Place. Good. Well, guys, I'm going to put this on repeat for a little while just to give her some more experience, but I do see her understanding deepening. It's her first time doing this. She's doing really well. Remember, we took it slow in the beginning, and we kind of spoon-fed her the answers by walking her from place bed to place bed with the leash. And we slowly got to the point where we are now, which is pretty much off leash, relying just on the e-collar pressure. Now I'm going to do this a little bit more, and I'll probably pick up the session again and repeat the same session another time or two, possibly. Maybe adding some distractions and things like this, but I really want her to have this down pat before we move on to anything more complicated. So thanks for watching. I hope you guys are getting something out of this, and we'll see you on the next one.